an email that I received that I think is important for us to talk about. So this queen is saying, "Hi Mona, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to share something vulnerable that surfaced for me recently, something that caught me by surprise but feels deeply significant. While watching a TV show, I found myself unexpectedly emotional and triggered. At first, I couldn't fully understand why, but the more I sat with the discomfort, the more I realized that the show was bringing to light deep-seated beliefs I've carried from my religious trauma, beliefs that I thought I left behind, but were still stored in my body. Watching people be outgoing, confident, expressing, and unapologetically in their sexuality stirred something in me. Not jealousy, but grief. I felt grief for the version of myself that never felt safe to be those things. I was raised in a religious environment that equated modesty with securing a place in heaven, beauty with bad ego, and any sort of sexual expression with shame or sin. That programming went so deep that I didn't even realize how much this religious trauma was affecting my self-worth and self-confidence. So I want to stop here before I go further and just tell you, because most people grew up in some kind of religion. Okay, most. And I'm very familiar, of course, with the three Abrahamic religions: Islam, Christianity, Judaism. But I don't think it's any different in any other religions, like, for example, in Hinduism, in terms of modesty and shame associated with sexuality. I don't think any religion is pro or encouraging of these things and is not inducing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the ones that I mentioned, I know for a fact they all do the same thing if you're raised in a religious home. And what I told people, and to understand very clearly, is that the deep religious programming, because it comes from collective consciousness, from the group that you're raised in, and so much energy is being poured into that religion, whatever that religion is, their adepts are pouring a lot of energy, then the idea that you're going to just step away from it and it's never going to affect you ever again is very naive. And I want you guys to be clear on this. Why? Because if you are aware that these programs are in you and they're a part of you and you can't overcome them and you can't erase them, but you can live above them, then every time they surface, what you can do is you can actually understand, hey, this thing that I'm feeling right now is because of what was put into me, is because of the collective. If you say, oh, I've been raised in a totally mega Christian household, but I left these things behind, and right now I'm really able to express myself, I have so much self-confidence, it's gonna hit you hard when it hits you. Okay, it's gonna hit you like, oh my God, I was I was lying to myself when I thought I can just flip a switch. You can never flip a switch. It's better to know that and to internalize this idea, because then you catch yourself in the moment and you're like, yeah, this is attributed to this. It has nothing to do with my decision to live a certain way. It has nothing to do, I want to be beautiful. Okay, I understand. Yeah, maybe I'm feeling a little ashamed in expressing this or asking for things in my sexuality or this because I was trained that. But that is just that program playing out right now. It's not me. The essence of me is passionate and expressive, and I'm gonna go through with this irrespective of what I feel because it's in my essence. So the thoughts that come in your head and even the feelings that you have in a second are not necessarily based on the essence of you. If you learn to differentiate what comes from the essence and what comes from the programs, you will be so much further in life in general. Okay? Natalie says it took me 20 years to officially come out of the closet because of religious trauma. Yeah. You can't just say, oh, I left the church behind or I left the temple behind and now I'm free to be. No, it's a mental thing. The church is in your mind. The trap is in your mind. I'm not anti-church, by the way. I believe in God, just for everyone's information. And I also pray. It's just that parts of the religion that were instilled in me, I chose to leave behind and develop my own relationship with God. So when I speak about these things, I'm not telling anyone how to handle their religious beliefs. What I'm saying is pay attention how much of those are your beliefs and how much of those are just things that were put in there. And try to develop your own understanding of reality, the universe, and God. If I were to give you an advice, I would say it's much more beneficial to develop a personal relationship with a loving God than it is to adhere to certain practices. That's what I would say, high level. Okay, I'm going to continue here. She's saying, back in May, I noticed I kept having dreams about people I used to go to church with who I haven't spoken to in 10 plus years. In June, I dreamt about being inside the actual church building I grew up in. And when we started the challenge together on June 25th, these dreams intensified. I even wrote it on Facebook that I was having dreams of people from my past, people from my church, and it's all coming full circle for me on why I was dreaming about my old religious past. This show, the show that triggered her, unexpectedly became a mirror. It reflected parts of my self-love, self-worth, confidence journey that were repressed because I was conditioned to believe a confident woman means a prideful, egotistical, a wrong type of woman. My emotional response to this was so massive that I decided I need to stop the 60-day challenge on day 14. My body was having such a strong reaction to this. I felt like I needed to focus on working through this versus trying to manifest. All this to say, I'm learning that once I label what I once labeled as sinful is often the very place where my self-love and power lives. Thank you again for everything. Okay, so a few things here. Number one is that you got to understand art, beauty, nature, a show, anything that is kind of like things that come creatively, okay, when you look around. All of this can be triggers, okay? All of this are here to activate dormant codes. That's why I told you, be very careful what art you observe, what shows you watch, what images you observe, because they will all come to pass in your own life. But they're all put there to be triggers. Now, for conspiracy theorists, they would tell you they're put in there to program your mind negatively. I don't know if this is being done deliberately or not. That's not really what I focus on. What I focus on is what I decide to observe. I don't watch crime shows. I don't watch anything, anyone's sick imagination about anything bad, negative, ugly images. Even sci-fi shows, if they are dark, I don't watch. I only watch comedies. I watch things that make me want to dream positively, like daydream positively, beautiful things, documentaries, etc. But it doesn't have to be a show that's negative in order to activate some dormant code in you. This can be done by any show, okay? Because what the 60-day challenge does, and it's not just a spreadsheet where you manifest, like she's saying, I decided to stop manifesting. It's not the only thing it does. Once you catch up with its energy, you do the meditations, you do everything, you follow along with the group, and you stay in this mind, what it will do is it will bring forth, and everybody who's done it can concur to this, it will bring forth what it's supposed to bring forth from inside of you for you to move to the next step. It's not some subliminal thing where you repeat things and all you have to do is reaffirm things and they just come to pass, because it doesn't work that way. That's not the work I'm doing. The work I'm doing is I understand how this reality works, and this reality works on input, output, input, output. And why there is a God, and I'm convinced there is a God, is because if the input is our inner states and the output is this 3D reality, there's got to be a processor in between. You understand? This can't evolve from birds to mammals and from mammals to humans or monkeys or whatever they tell you. It can't be. And the thoughts affect reality. So if you have a view where everything happens randomly via evolution, you're gonna have cognitive dissonance from trying to do this work. I am convinced my inner states and everyone's inner states collectively together affect the collective. Our inner states create reality based on something that processes our inner states in the same way. And there's probably intervention, divine intervention along the way, and things that are stopped from happening from a higher power. But again, you can't really worry about that because you can't control that. Overall, we are given the free will to choose our inner state. That's your only free will. Your free will is not, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to have a coffee at McDonald's instead of Starbucks. Those aren't free will. Those are choices that are based on your existing programs or your reprogrammed programs that you put in there. I'm talking about self-analysis, awareness, and intention. If you focus on that, we don't know how we actually create reality, but we know it's happening. If we only knew how to do it coherently, this world would be the Garden of Eden. It would be heaven here, right? And what conspiracy theory tells you is that probably some people know exactly how to do it, and they're doing it in the negative. I don't want your mind to stay there though. But I also believe that some people in this world must know exactly how to do it. And this was information that was passed on to at least some people, some group of people. So I just want to see if there's anything here that I missed about this testimonial. Okay. What I want to say to this queen who gave the testimonial about the show. So number one, the art is a trigger. Okay. It's a trigger. It's like, you have a dormant code inside of you, and that dormant code is made up both of your essence, your unexpressed essence, but it's also dormant based on your traumas, based on some programs that you press down there, right? We know this in psychology, that repressed trauma always comes up. But what you don't know is that your essence is also repressed for most people. In her case, she's breaking down now, realizing that her essence was not expressed all these years. Basically, she was not herself. She was living somebody else's life. This is the most painful thing to realize, and I think many people realize this later in life, that they didn't live the life that their spirit wanted to live because of the programs. So I'm going to tell you, Queen, and in general, okay, encourage your dream space, because your dreams, like in this case, her dreams about the church and about the past people, what if they aren't memories? What if they are a way in which the subconscious is editing the code? So the subconscious has to go to where the stuckness is and edit the code. And the subconscious has to revisit the play out of this information, the play out of this tape of your life to see. And sometimes you become conscious of that in your dreams. So you're thinking many times, oh, I dreamt of this thing that happened 10 years ago. But maybe it's not that at all. Maybe it's just your cursor going to the exact tape that it's supposed to go, playing it, editing it, understanding what is going on. And maybe the church isn't even the church. It's like the architecture of your mind. Maybe inside of your mind, the dreams are very symbolic. There's an architecture, like that's why I told you guys many times, the house is you. What does it mean? The house is the set of you, the information that makes you you, which means your mind and the contents of your mind. So maybe the church is how you associate the sacredness of your inner space in your mind. But I really think the subconscious puts the cursor where it's supposed to be when you set another intention than the one in which you're going automatically based on collective consciousness and the script of your life. I told you guys, without intention, you are going with the script of your past and the script of collective consciousness combined. Okay, the combination, you can't really be sure what the combination is going to be. It's going to be part collective consciousness, part your past. That's all your life is going to be. With intention, what's going to happen, you're forcing the subconscious to even have to rewrite some of the past, you understand? Because the past that you had cannot take you where your intention is. So in your dreams, in your emotions, all of these are huge triggers about rewriting a code. So me feeling not confident, not assured, not what she's saying in my sexuality, not being able to express myself, well, that person probably cannot be a good speaker, a good business owner, a person who can manage staff, a person who can affirm herself in this world. So you can have this idea, my intention is to, be the CEO of this corporation. But unless your subconscious goes back in the code and rewrites that confidence where you lost it, it can't be done. You understand? It just can't be done. So encourage dream space. I'm so big on dream space. That's why I even like have a section on dreams in my 60-day challenge that we're doing now. Do not skip that. I have entered every single night. I now have out of 23 nights that are meaningless dreams, I've deemed meaningless. And the rest are very significant. Like something came up for me. But sometimes it only takes one dream, right? Like you don't need to get out of 50 out of 60. Sometimes it takes 2, 3 dreams for you to be like, holy shit, it's this thing. It's repeating in me. What is it? And here's where your here's where your free will comes in, because you have to discern all this information and be like, what am I supposed to do about it? Stay in this massive energy. Hey, if you guys feel like you're drifting away, go back to the group, leave a comment. Just by that alone, it will make you return back to the energy. Because now, especially if you've been in my group for a while, what your mind knows is that when I return here, I return about what I want to do, about my intention, so it's like an anchor in 3D world, which is what I meant to do with it. Hold on a second, I have 15 new messages, so I want to see what's going on. If there's anything. Good evening. Here's 12:20 p.m. Yasmina has so much trouble remembering the dreams in the morning. Did you do what I told you about not eating, about not drinking alcohol? Did you try to do this for a week? Stop eating after 6 p.m. You have to make some sacrifices in 3D in order to make this happen. How can we protect ourselves against the energy of other people? That's another topic. I've discussed this in my previous content, but really what you got to be aware of is that you're not going to be able to do this right away. Number one thing you're going to need to do is not be in places that make you uncomfortable. So you can't really go in places they make you uncomfortable and you're like, I invoke my light protection and nothing's going to happen to me, from the point where you never worked with energy before. So number one thing that I would advise people is avoidance. Like I never go to concerts. When I was younger and in my corporate job, I used to go to conferences. They always had a devastating effect on my energy system. And I only understood why much later on. Later on, I actually was able to contain my energy to just me and just protect it with a lot of awareness. But that means that every time you feel it, you sort of have to be like, I was almost on the energetic defense mode throughout. And depends where you're at, right? Like if you're in a hospital, if you're in a funeral home, if it's like some of these things you can't avoid and you just have to deal with it. But number one thing, I would say it's avoidance. Number two thing, develop really good self-awareness. Learn how to read another person's energy. When you interact with another person, there's always an energy exchange from the person to the other person, from one person to the other, okay? So the way that interaction leaves you feeling, that's where you start developing an understanding of what your own personal energy system reacts to, how it reacts to. Was that person rattled? How did it make you feel? Were you able to hold your position, your state, or did you become rattled? Did you become annoyed maybe that they're even telling you this? Did you become compassionate? Did you become sympathetic and took on some of their pain? How does the other person's energy on a one-to-one individual level or in your group of friends affects you? Who is the main culprit? Who is the person that affects you the most right now in your life? And then you got to implement 3D changes, like actual practical changes. Let's see. Okay. Don't think there was anything else. So in terms of this Queen's testimonial, this is very interesting for everyone to contemplate, okay? The emotion means your data has been activated. So what she's talking about, this massive emotion overwhelmed, what's happening here is your field is only now able to process this, okay? And grief often precedes an upgrade. Grief precedes an upgrade. I told you consciousness grows from love and pain. in this life, you're gonna have both. Now, the love might pass you by if you don't know how to hold it and activate it and keep it around you and deal with it because of your trauma. But I promise you, the pain will not pass you by. Every single human being will have pain in this life. I'm talking about emotional pain. Maybe physically you'll be completely okay. Live to 90, die in your sleep. But emotionally, nobody in this world will be spared from pain. So the fastest and most efficient ways you learn to deal with pain will be the most beneficial thing for you to work on. And then, of course, if you want love in your life, that's something that you can't let pass you by. Love can pass you by because of your ego, because of your trauma, because the social timing isn't right, right? If you have small kids, you decide not to date right now, love can pass you by, but pain will not pass you by. Huh? This is not negativity, guys. This is something you must understand about life in order to treasure it, in order to live it more fully. Okay, that was that. Then I want to talk about two things. So when people purchase my 60-day challenge, I have a space there that says, it says there, okay, it's not on my phone, but it says there, tell me what you mainly want to achieve out of this so I can agree to it. What is your main goal? So I can agree to it because I have this thing that I'm convinced of. If 2 or more people agree on something, it's going to come to pass in one way or the other. The capacity of the receiver will be key, of course, also. But I believe in this thing with agreement. So I want to talk about 2 of them that came in this week. And I'm going to read it exactly as they came. So the question is, what is your main goal for this challenge that you're trying to achieve? Somebody put there, to become the best version of me mentally, spiritually, and financially. And I want to talk about this. So that is our main goal of the 60-day challenge. I'm going to tell you guys, when you're talking about the best version of you, you have to understand that there's many incredible versions of you that have completely different lives. This has to be very, very clear in your mind. I don't know if I'm probably not doing enough theory on that and on parallel lifelines and on the quantum. So I'm going to go back to a discussion about quantum. Okay. So what is quantum? You hear this a lot in science. You hear a lot right now, quantum computing. Quantum is another level of reality outside of this 3D. Now, this is not philosophy right now. This is all science. Science, proven science, not theoretical science, proven science, okay? So in this layer of reality, particles do not behave like solid objects, like solid particles. Like when we understood an atom in, I don't know, the early 1900s, we understood it's a solid thing. It's a small thing. You can't observe it, but it's a solid thing. So in this quantum layers, particles don't behave. They're all in a potential state. They occupy multiple states, multiple positions at the same time, which is called superpositioning. They can communicate with each other instantly, even if they're not in proximity to each other. This is called entanglement. They can arrange and rearrange themselves in a certain pattern and only get a coherent pattern once they are observed. We all know this, yes? Like at least my audience, everybody knows this. What does that imply? That implies there is a whole potentiality of where the ideal you, this queen is saying to become the best version of me. There's many, 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 many potential versions of you. In one version of you, you could be a very accomplished mother to 4 children, being, let's say, provided for by a man who really loves you. Let's say that's one version of you that turned out really good. Another version of you, you might be childless, but you might get a lot of fulfillment by running a company, by having very, very close friends. Perhaps you work together, you're working towards a goal together, you're helping people, you're involved in humanitarian actions, etc. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say there's many ways in which your life can go that would be classified as the best version of you, how she's saying it, mentally, spiritually, and financially. But there's probably some of this best potentials, best possibilities that would be more aligned with the essence of you. You say that again. There's many best and wonderful versions of you out there living completely different lives. There's only a few that are actually aligned with your essence. Therefore, it makes sense that if you're just looking for the best version of you financially and mentally and emotionally, you can have that. But it's not necessarily going to be aligned with your essence. If your essence is you're a mother without children right now and you feel that deeply, you love kids. I was never one of those people. I love my kids to pieces. But I would not be happy, I know for a fact, in a life where I have like a ballerina life farm and I have 5 children or 15 children or whatever, and I'm fully taken care of and I have whatever. But I would not be, I know me. I know me. Other women would never be happy having one child or living in a certain country or and what I'm trying to explain here is that the essence of you is only you would know that. But most people don't know that because they have never been encouraged to. They never taken the time to, they were never shown to how to dig inside themselves and express them. Schooling system definitely doesn't help with this. In fact, it does the opposite. It tries to put people in boxes, right? That's why until grade 11 you have to have a certain mark in math or science or things that people will never use again in their lives, and they'll be traumatized by that experience of being a failure. And so when you say the best version of me, the advice that I give people, find out what life suits you should be your main pursuit inside your self-discovery journey. What life suits you. Now, of course, this can change over time. So at some point you might want to say, let's say in your 20s, I want to travel and see 25 countries and learn a lot of languages, meet a lot of people, and then that life kind of wears off, but it was your essence at the time. And then you can say, I want to settle down and I want to have 4 children and I want to live in the countryside. You can do all of these things. So it's not like you have to pick a 20 and if you missed it, you missed it. This can change over time. But inside yourself, you'd be like, based on my life experience so far, how have I changed in order for my goals to change? In fact, what the queens who are working with me are finding is that their goals change all the time. They change within the 60-day time span of doing this challenge as they align more and more with their essence, with their essence. Bambi says, do you believe in multiple realities? Yes, this is what I've been talking about just now. It's the reason I believe in that is because it's very clear. It's a very clear implication of quantum science. If the particles in the quantum can be in superpositions, entangled, and they can choose different spots as to where they're going to take their final spot based on your observation, then there's obviously more than one possibility for what can be for you. And together, collectively, based on our intention, awareness, and observation, which is generally put on default for the most of the population, what most of the population knows about life is what's being presented in the news. Let's face it. They decided what life is based on what's being presented on the news and what most aligned maybe with whatever they were, the ideology of their childhood or the ideology that's completely opposite of their childhood, right? If they grew up in a conservative environment, they might have gone the complete opposite way or kept that way. So that's where most people's attention's on observation on. And the world keeps going on. Like the machine, which is the universe, which is neutral, does not care. It just unfolds this. But you have full free will in the quantum And what is the quantum? Let's talk about the difference between classical information and quantum information. So classical information is things that can be downloaded, copied, replicated, transmitted to other people. This would be, for example, your past. Your past, let's say it's on your resume. It's a resume of your life, a resume of your job. That's classical information. It can be copied, transmitted, it can be processed, etc. Quantum information is not able to be copied, is not able to be cloned. Quantum information are your inner states, your feelings, your intentions. Someone's collection of their unique memories, inner states, beliefs, feelings, intention, and awareness can never be replicated. This is where the quantum information is. This is the quantum in you. That information nobody has access to. Sometimes your conscious person, your brain doesn't even have access to because it doesn't understand it. Right? It comes out in dreams. It comes out in repeating loops in 3D life, but you have to learn how to pay attention to this, observe and interpret it. Otherwise it's useless, right? But the unique quantum information that's in you, i.e. your inner state, interacts via this neutral machine, via the processor, and is processed as 3D output. 3D is also in quantum state. You're in quantum state, 3D is in quantum state. The only thing that's fixed is really the processor. It's really this is a neutral machine that processes. And as you pass through the machine, as your inner state, now my inner states could change every second, every minute. Definitely they change throughout the day. And the world will absolutely trigger, distract you and destabilize you. They will absolutely do that, right? You watch a scary movie, you watch some bad news, a friend calls you, they're getting divorced. The world will destabilize you, right? And your work has to be in maintaining the state that you want to be your dominant frequency. What do you want your dominant frequency to be? So the difference between classical information and quantum information is like sitting in front of the TV, watching a channel, not being aware that there's many other channels that you can flip through. Classical information, you're watching channel 5. There's 100 other channels you can tune into, but only if you take a further step. Otherwise, the way your life is playing is like on channel 5. What's next? What will happen in an hour? Whatever they're playing on channel 5. Channel 5 is going irrespective of you. If you're just sitting down and watching, it's going based on what they have in mind to put on the display, right? So in this case, what the universe sees that your inner state is and keeps displaying the same thing. If you get up, pick up the remote and change the channel and see what else is possible. Let's say it's a person who's, from 10,000 years ago, never held a remote. That person needs to learn how to use the remote in order to change the channel. Thank you guys for the compliments. They're not necessary, but thank you for watching my content. Natalie's saying this is why I can't watch the news. Me neither. I can't watch the news either. Stay with my family. Okay, I want to see if there's something else. This is true, Mona. My dreams have pieces of the things I consumed the day before. Yeah, so those are irrelevant dreams. The irrelevant dreams have to do with either something that some banal elements that about the day, what you watched, what you consumed, or they have to do with the states that your body's in as it digests food. Those will be completely meaningless. Please, at least for a month or 2, stop watching the news. Believe me, the people who stop watching the news kind of tend to not go back on it. I don't watch the news and I still somehow know everything that's going on, or as much as I need to know everything. Someone's overwhelmed by just being around of the family. The energy of the family is not best. I'm not feeling complete. So when you've moved away from your family, I'm assuming this is your extended family, and you go back to it, you might find that the way you hear them is completely different. Not you might find, you will find. You will find. That was always the case for me, even when I met like an old friend. They never changed, but you changed. They don't change because they're going on the collective script based on more of their past. They're repeating the same ideas. Money doesn't grow on trees. La 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 la. It's a hookup culture. They're going on the script, and you're all of a sudden dissonant with everything they're saying. You're like, this is negative. This is negative. And even you'll make associations that you can't tell them. Like I see it in people. Like I know why their life is the way it is. I'm talking about people that I know of their life. But I can't be out there, hey, you know, Coach Mona in the house now. Now I'm going to tell you what to do. You see this thought? This is the thought that's making that pattern repeat in your life. So unless people ask me, I don't feel like I have the right to come in, and they have to ask me, right? But I clearly see it in them. And I know exactly why it's happening. That's why they say the observer is always like seeing the truth. But you can't really see things from the, you can't really solve a problem from the same mindset that created the problem. Einstein said that, or it's attributed to Einstein having said that. But this is so true. They're never gonna see it unless they step outside. So what does it mean, step outside? Different mindset. And they'll be like, oh, this is why this happens to me. Another thing people do, as we know, we talked about it many times, blame everything that happened on the other person, on their mother, father, boyfriend, the narcissist, ex-husband, all of that. And I try to be sensitive about these topics because it's really difficult to communicate, but I'm going to say generally, you can't end up with more than one narcissistic person and say men are narcissists. I understand you were young, you ended up with one, but now you know. I know people end up with 2 or 3. They have the same exact. How did you not understand the first time? Like, how did you not learn exactly where to stop and analyze? Awareness, especially as a woman, we're really taught to be aware of situational awareness, right? So we're always on defense mode. You got to practice the same mental awareness when you're with anyone, even somebody you feel safe with physically. It's got to go one level deeper than just situational awareness, queens. It's difficult for others to accept a different version of you than you were. 100%. 100%. So you have to decide, are you going to live for other people or are you going to live for yourself? I'm going to tell you something. For some people who have thought about this long, they decided they can't be anyone else because they have a responsibility towards their sister, their brother, their mother. I know people who live in extended family structure, like their sisters and brothers are in the same neighborhood, their parents live in their house. They're not going to all of a sudden show up and be like, hey, Mona's different from here on out. This is how it's going to work. It's impossible to do that in the social structure. People think like you lost your mind. They'll resist it so much that you'll give up. Do you understand? So if your goal in life is like, I'm going to change, and at the same time, I'm going to make these people understand that this change is good and they should change too to accommodate me, you're going to find that their collective consciousness will crush you if you go with that kind of ego in. That's why in religion they tell you got to have a secret space in your heart where you do this work. I told you guys. Does everybody who is doing my 60-day challenge put a password on the file? Please do that. Please do that. Nobody should ever come and see this secret space of yours. Natalie says, I can lie to everyone, not myself. Now I have very few people in my life. It's better. People, if they don't contribute to you, to your growth, they have no business being in your life. I'm not talking about people at work and stuff. You shouldn't be sharing it. The only people who should be in your life are people who contribute to your life in some way. Right? My best friends contribute to my life. They don't drain me. They have their own lives. They're always there for me. I'm always there for them when something comes up, but I expect them to be able to fully handle what happens on a day-to-day basis. But of course, we all run into problems in our lives. Nobody's spared from pain, like I told you guys. Eventually, some of our parents will die. Eventually, obviously. Hopefully, you don't want to die before them. We have to deal with that. We have to deal with some illnesses. We have to deal with our kids making the wrong choices. We have to deal with many things that come up in life. So always ask yourself, what is the value add benefit of somebody being in my life? But that's obviously if you also know your value add to them. What if they are your family, especially if they are your family? Hey, if they are your family, extended family, you can't change them. The interaction, the social interaction has to be cut drastically. Drastically. And this doesn't have to be done rudely. You call your cousin who complains 10 times a week, you're gonna call them less. You're not gonna change anybody. The changes that you effectuate inside of you are only gonna annoy your existing structure. They're gonna annoy your husband who's used to you doing everything and worrying about him, and all of a sudden you shift the focus on you. He's like, what the hell is this? So there will be a resistance at first. Lisa, I actually hit the Excel app, so I need to go into the App Store to locate it. Love it. Lisa, don't you live alone? I often blame others, but I am aware and trying to change it and take full responsibility. Rita, if it's this is how an easy mind trick, okay? If it's their fault, you have no control over who you're going to meet in the future, and maybe they're going to be the same kind of people. If it's your fault for not assessing what kind of people they were, like the situation can be their fault, okay? Maybe they're truly narcissistic and stuff, but the original blame is with you for not assessing. If you take that blame, you're like, yeah, he's like this, or he's an alcoholic, but I saw the signs and I didn't do what I was supposed to do. That's how I always brought it back and justify it. It's not my fault for his behavior. It's my fault for not being able to assess where this behavior is going to take me in the future. Or it's my fault for dimming my light to accommodate for somebody else. It's my fault for not speaking up when this person was giving me something I didn't want, or not giving me exactly what I want. It's my fault, right? I wanted something else, but I accepted X and Y and Z. Whose fault is that? Is it his behavior that's at fault, or is it me? Lisa said it was my ex-boyfriend, too sneaky. Oh, okay. I think I read your email about, I don't know if I can tell the story on this live, but that's one example where you have to pay attention. And I think I'm very proud of you, Lisa, because you identified the control issue. So basically, Lisa, I met this guy. He seemed like super amazing. Now that you tell me it's okay that I can. And he was just, but with that super amazing and a planner and all around her, it turned out he was a control freak. And he was telling her, your dog, the dog that she's had, she loves, is like her child. Basically, the dog can't sleep here and we can't take him on the strips and this and that. And trying to change that whole dynamic. And no matter how good of this came out in the first couple of months, no matter how much Lisa loved this guy or was falling in love with him or his other qualities, this control, this narcissism that just was coming through at that time, she let him go. And I'm just very proud of her for this. She's been working with us for a couple of years now. It's probably not something she would have done before. I'm telling you guys, some of these choices that I'm telling you to make in this analysis that you have to do, it's not, the decision to go through with it is not easy. You're going to feel like you're losing something. Like, I was on a first date with a person who's now my husband. And I was like, yeah, he was like, do you have any pets? I said, yeah, I have a cat. And he goes like, oh, I'm kind of allergic to cats. And I'm like, oh, okay. Let's make this a super pleasant interaction then, since we won't be seeing each other again. And then he's like, oh, it's not that bad, I can take a pill or, but it's like, here's my boundary, You're allergic to cats. This isn't gonna work. That's so funny. Yeah. You gotta know what you accept multiplies and persists. That's why if you accept goodness, it will multiply and persist. If you only accept goodness, it will have to. It has no other choice. The other thing I wanted to talk about, so the other goal that came from somebody else who bought my challenge, and again, I have a space there that says, what is your main goal, your objective? She said, exactly, this I'm quoting exactly, career and financial abundance and the love of my life a close second. That's exactly what she put as a goal. Career and financial abundance and love life as a close second. I'm going to tell you, sometimes you don't have to dig very deep to see where the main limiting beliefs are. Love life a close second. What this says in the mind, I already know. You can't have everything in life. You can't, right? Career, if I want a career and financial success, my love life has to be like a close second. If I want love, I have to cater to a man then. That means like I can't really focus on other things. Or who knows what other things, but there's a conflict in the brain. The brain, the main idea here is I can't have everything I want. Because that's why love life has to be a close second. Meeting the love of my life is a close second. We are not taught as women that we can have everything we want. By the way, career and financial success are not the same thing. You can win the lottery and be financially successful and have a career of painting, because that's what you love to do, without selling one painting or selling 2 paintings a year. That's your career. You love to do it. Financial abundance comes from somewhere else. Maybe it all comes together, but maybe it doesn't have to. Maybe the career you have will bring you immense financial success, but your life will feel completely empty. Can we have everything? Okay, this sheet, I had this sheet, I think I made it in 2023 because I had a dream I was gonna read this out. And I read it, I think, on maybe like 10 lives, but I haven't read it in the last 10 months, 12 months, something like that. I haven't read it. So the way we do this is I repeat this. The reason I'm doing it is because I had it in a book. Okay, and it's a book I guess I talked about during a live, and I picked up that book and this thing fell out. And I'm very big on signs and synchronicities, and I'm like, it fell out. I forgot I was doing this. That means my queens need it. So if you're in a safe place, you can close your eyes, repeat after me. This will take about 2 minutes. Repeat after me, or repeat in your mind, or repeat out loud, or just don't focus on an image. Just focus inside yourself if you can. Okay, I'm gonna go quick. You ready? I am happy. I am prosperous. I am capable. I am strong. I am lucky. I am able. I am wanted. I am accepted. I am promoted. I am recognized. I am a blessing. I am chosen. I am healthy. I am creating. I am perfection. I am the best. I am a gift. I am powerful. I am selected. I am incredible. I am put forward. I am a joy. I am rich. I am generous. I am smart. I am focused. I am the one. I am success. I am a leader. I am protected. I am abundant. I am harmony. And I am a winner. How did it feel? It gave me a little bit of goosebumps. It felt good to me. Guys, what you got to remember is that never doubt your power. And the most important thing to develop within you is self-confidence. Self-confidence is faith in your innate talents and abilities, in your ability to change, in your ability to adapt, in your ability to interact with others. That's what self-confidence is. Never doubt your power and the power of a group consciousness. Do everything you can to develop your self-confidence. It's like the bedrock of you believing that you have authority. You believing that if you have some religious background, you're made in the image of the creator and you can create. You have to have faith in you. That's what faith in you means. Faith in yourself. The self-confidence that you need to go through this world is actually the level that you need to have is increasing. You need to have more and more to fight against all the ideologies and all the negative collective consciousness that's coming your way. So the more you protect self, the more you stay in a group of people that think like you, that are positive, that are motivated, that are full of hope, full of faith in a future that's possible for you. Now remember, you have almost zero ability, almost zero, to affect collective consciousness. But you have almost 100% ability to affect your own life. And by affecting your own life positively, you're affecting everyone around you. So you may not have been given the power to affect changes in your mother, in your sister, in your extended family. But by you changing and becoming an inspiration and becoming a motivator for others, and giving the right advice to those people who are asking you for advice. By that, you are slowly changing and multiplying this line of thought into the collective consciousness. That's where your power lies. Okay? Remember, what you speak is so important. Sorry, guys, please don't call me. I don't take calls during my lives. My mind, what I think, what I speak, and what I have in my heart have to align. This has always been the premise of this group. It's very hard to do. When somebody's saying something negative, especially if we can tell them off, oh, it's telling me my device is heating up. Especially if we can't tell them off, like your boss or something, and we agree with them, that agreement in speech makes a difference in contributing to the incoherence you have in this line. Think of the straight line always needing to be in alignment. Economy is bad, guys suck, this guy's they're just awful. Yeah, you know, I understand. Yeah, I met some. So now in your what you speak about, what you gave agreement to, it's not what you're thinking about. I'm loved, I'm wanted, I deserve a great husband in my heart, I'm prepared to love. But now you have to agree with someone. You're speaking differently and you just affected this coherence. I am successful. I can succeed in any economy. I believe in myself. I am confident in my heart. I'm prosperous. Trump's tariffs, man, this is going to destroy the economy. What you let out of your mouth is breaking the connection between these two. Remember that. Unless your job is to provide a commentary on the economic situation of a certain country, you have no business talking about it, especially on a day-to-day life. Talking on the negative. If somebody says negative, just say, you know what? People have gone through worse. The world has survived. You don't even have to go that far back. Great Depression of the 1920s. We survived the almost collapse of the stock market, 2008. Okay, you don't have to go that far back. We'll get through this. Guys, we'll get through this. Offer something positive that comes out of your speech. Okay? You have the right and the power and the authority to bless what you want and to dissolve what you don't want with your speech. Reminder, with your speech, bless your marriage, your workplace, your car. When you get into the car, bless your food. This is a religious practice that I find more and more meaning in. Bless your food. You know, maybe it's weird, but many times, like if I have meat, I'm like, thank you for dying so I can live. Thank you. Bless the place that you're going to get to. You know, bless the sun. That's how I'm still able to affect the weather where I go specifically. I'm still able to be like, it's going to be a nice sunny day, or even if this cloud is here, it's going to be gone. I bless the place. I envision it. I have the authority to speak it. bless my marriage, bless my group, bless my circumstances, bless everything around me. You also have the power to dissolve what is negative. What does this mean? Anxious situations, something speaking something negative about you, you can always say, I do not accept the result of this thought. Your boss saying, I do not accept this interaction. I dissolve now because I have the power and authority to dissolve any negative pocket of energy that's in my energy field left over as a result of my interaction with this difficult client, with this boss. Whatever's formed right now around me from this angerness that I feel or this unfairness that I feel, I dissolve it right now. I'm now dissolving it. Speak it, speak it. Blessings, and bless the circumstances you want, dissolve the circumstances you don't want. You don't have to accept anything you don't want to accept, guys. Energetically, I'm talking about. Now, you might have to put up with the situation temporarily, but the situation will change. It will change by itself. Feminine Circle says, does losing an object from your ex has meaning, or it just happens? You shouldn't have any objects from your ex. That would be my answer. It may have meaning. It depends where you're at. It depends where you're at with your feelings for that ex. It depends how much work you've done to bring forth a future that you want, a husband or what have you. It just depends how often you think about that ex. So I would say, like, not I would say, I would strongly advise. I even told you guys the clothes that you had when you were with somebody. I remember I wore this beautiful, expensive dress at my 5-year wedding anniversary with my ex-husband. I just gave it away. I only wore it once, and I was like, oh, there's going to be events where I wear this again, and it still looks great on me. And I can't, because if I put it on, I know I'm going to be in the energy of the person I used to be back then. So objects from your ex, things like I have zero. This live, you can watch it. They're all posted. I go live once a week. They're all posted on YouTube. Next week, I can't commit to a time. I will do a live for my group because I promise you guys I'll be on once a week, but I will be on vacation again. We're going to Jamaica. I can't wait. I love the ocean. I love bodies of water. I do a lot of work in bodies of water. I was by the lake a few weeks ago and I've done some energy work. Okay, now I want to quickly talk about something. I don't have time to talk about what came out of my group work and the comments people are putting. So if you put a comment, I aim to answer every single comment that I get on the 60-day challenge as you guys go along. I told you guys I'm going to do the work with you and help you along the way. So you should receive some type of response from me. If I haven't responded, please just let me know. But do you guys remember when I told you that every image that you observe will come to pass in your own life? And about 1.5 years ago, when I was in Costa Rica, I was surfing for the first time, and I realized the picture that I had on my camera and surfing was the same one that's in my yoga studio, in the yoga studio I go to on the board. Do you remember that, Lisa? Okay. So last year, I was in Washington. I went to see Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I went to the museum there. And I saw a painting I really liked. I liked it so much. I don't know why I liked it. It just spoke to me. I liked it so much that I made it my background. Like, when you turn on the computer, you have a background. And it's this photo. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's basically two people rolling, kayaking, what have you, okay? Just this morning, I tell you, hand on my heart, just this morning, I realized that less than, like, about 1 year later, I've never been on one of these things. I've never kayaked. I never kayaked before. And just this morning, I'm like, hey, I have a picture like this from when we went 5 days to a cottage here in Canada. And I'm like, I tried this for the first time. Tell me if it's not the same picture. This is me. This is my friend. And like cottage country in Canada. Like, freaking the same thing coming to pass. And this is not something, oh, I'm gonna try to make pass like it, oh, it's like winning the lottery or what have you. It's not like I'm trying to bring it for. I really love that painting. I made it my background. My subconscious mind, with no intention, was absorbing it every time I turn on my computer, and it came to pass in my life. And I'm like, the power that we have when we're not desperate, putting effort, trying to make the outcome come to pass. Guys, just put something you like, your computer background, put a few pictures, put in your vision board without being like making rituals around it, without putting attachments in it. I love this and I'm going to put it there. I'm observe, like, there's no reason. I just like this image. And I guarantee you. So what does that tell us? That tells us whatever you observe will come to pass in your life. Now, this case happened to be positive, can definitely be negative. What you observe matters so much. Guys, there's a lot of content here. If you missed part of this live, it will be posted on my YouTube. I'm not gonna do any more short form videos for TikTok, but I'll keep my content as is. You guys you have hundreds of videos, playlists. I basically said what I was gonna say on TikTok, and I'm still gonna come and do my lives in this format because it's a great platform to do lives. And I'm gonna post all my lives on my YouTube, but I'm working on different content for YouTube. I think I wanna engage in dialogue with some people who also know about these things, and doing more like a podcast type format, or just a discussion type format for the beginning, and see if you guys like it and you find value in bringing in different thoughts and different other people's opinion that are on the same line, but you know, we all learn from each other. I hope this is something that you're interested in. So let's put our hands together. I always end all my lives with the 369 I am a winner, 1 extra affirmations. 1 breath in. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.